Hey everybody, welcome to WarKry Radio. Go be great. I am your host and wealth strategist, Karena Calhoun, and I love this. I love it so much. I love having awesome and amazing people on WarKry. So on today, we have Tijania Goodwin, and I'm excited about this conversation because my discernment is kicking in, and she is somebody that's real, and she's going to bring it. So I am excited. Tijania, thank you for joining WarKry Radio. How are you today?
I am great. I'm great. How about yourself?
I'm good. I am so good. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Oh man, where do I start? That's always a good question. Basically, I'm a Philly girl. I'm
Okay.
from Philadelphia, and I basically am a female who is walking in her purpose. It took me a long time to get here. I mean, I'm not even that old, but it took me a while to get here. And of course, you have to go through, different obstacles and trials and tribulations that'll open up your eyes so you can see what your purpose is. I was always big on education. I graduated from undergrad, graduated from graduate school, and worked in a nonprofit and also the corporate sector. So one day I just decided that I didn't want to work corporate no more, and I left my job in 2017. So I left the 9 to 5, and now I'm pursuing my business full time.
I love it.
I started with event planning because I loved event planning, bringing people together for a purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I loved doing that for a while. And then, I found my niche. So then I started specializing in certain events like conferences and, social events, things of that sort, because I like to be amongst the people because I love to network myself. So then after a while, I said, oh, well, I guess with this, I now have to start doing my own graphics and stuff like that, right? So I'm like, I guess I'll tap into that for a little bit because, it's always going to be highs and lows with events. A lot of people don't have events during the wintertime. It's cold outside, it's snow on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
People not really trying to travel. So then that's when I tapped into graphic designing. So that's when I developed my next brand, which was called I Am Posh, Pushing Obstacles and Still Hustling.
Oh, wow.
So I had, created that brand, and then I attached some branding coaching along with that, and it really hit big. So then I said after a while, I think I just want to merge the two together. So that's what I end up doing. And now I have the Divine Connections Agency where I help different businesses find their brand identity as well as their brand's purpose.
Wow. I love it. I absolutely love it. So I want to go back a little bit. You said in the beginning, and I think this is so many different people's path, but some people don't realize this, that through the trials and tribulations, through the obstacles, through the different things that we encounter, that helps shape where we're going. And it helps to shape the knowledge and the information that we have. And sometimes the empathy and the passion and compassion that we have as we continue on the path through entrepreneurship, because there's a ton of us that, such as yourself, we've taken the experience that we had, not necessarily the skills, but the experience that we've had with people.
Right.
And we turn that around into really pushing our business. How did you do that? Because, you started off with that you had trials and tribulations, different things like that, obstacles. So how did you push that? Because obviously you were not all that happy, so to speak, in corporate America. So talk to us a little bit about that.
So basically, I'll just take you guys back to 2009, where my mom suddenly got ill. She had a slight stroke, and then, she went to rehab, and she came home, and she was home for about a week or so. And she wasn't, acting like herself, because I'm the only child, and I was raised in a single parent home. So of course I know my mom off the back of my hand, like, you're not acting right now. So who would have known that was going to be the last time she would ever sit in the house that I'm in right now. So she went to the hospital, and everything just started going. Like, everything just started happening so fast. Next thing I knew, she was in intensive care. And then she was in intensive care for about, I'll say 2 or 3 weeks. And then she had passed in October of 2009.
I'm so sorry.
But you know what? I use that experience to keep me going, because I know how much of a motivator my mom was from the time that I can remember, you know, from the smallest even to my adulthood. And she pushed me at all times. So I knew I had to kind of keep that same energy even after she had passed. Yes, I went through stages of depression, anxiety, suicidal attempts, grief, loss, the whole shebang. But I knew that once I said, come on now, 30 is about to come. I need to get my act together, because I know my mom wouldn't want me to be this way. So I had to refocus and really tap into my faith, because my faith played a huge part. Even when she passed, my faith was tested, because I started asking God, why me? Like, you know, why do I have to go through this? And then later on, I really started thinking. I started going to my church family, you know, getting some therapy and things of that sort. And next thing I knew, I was like, Tiana, you're way bigger and better than this. You know, you really have to go on a self journey. You really have to understand who you are. Because I was a caretaker for the majority of my life. So I always tell people, when you look in a mirror, you just see one person. When I looked in a mirror, I saw several people, because I was taking care of so many people at a young age. I started taking care of my mom at 8 years old. My mom got, she had permanent nerve damage on the whole right side of her body when I was 8 years old. So she, you know, she had to learn how to, you know, hold utensils again. She had to learn how to write again, things of that sort. And it was hard as a kid, especially, you know, when you're the only child. So I really took all those experiences and kind of turned them around for me to see the positive. And then I started thinking, like, you know, why not me? You know, I said, you know, God did me a favor when he took her back. And that's actually the name of my new book that will actually be coming out in a couple of months.
Wow.
So I'm really excited about that. And I touch on grief and loss, you know, coping with grief and loss. And it's not a book just about, you know, just death and pertaining to her, but death of my grandmother, death of my godfather, death of my first pet. You know, I'm talking about death in all these different ways. And we feel grief and loss in all these different ways. And it's important that we all understand that, you know, we all really have something in common. We're not no different, really, for real, by the individual. You know what I mean? So we're all getting through all these different things in our lives, but we all need to come together and heal together.
I love it. So what is the name of your book?
God Did Me a Favor When He Took Her Back.
Okay. And when is it going to be published? When is it going to be available?
We're thinking the end of August. That's what we're aiming for. Okay. The end of August. Yes.
So make sure you tag Coach Karena, WarKry, everything, because we want to get that out there. And when it releases, when it drops, I want to get you back on the show so we can talk about it.
Absolutely. That's going to be
because
great.
I can say, as a believer, and a large portion of my audience already knows this, I am a preacher. I'm a minister. It's not something that I just go around, you know, blasting, but I can say honestly that when I've lost major people in my life, even as a minister, I have dealt with depression.
Yeah. It's a real thing.
It does not skip certain people just because of certain things. And so I am a huge proponent of getting the help that you need, because when I went through it, I never would have thought that I would have gone through it.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And so I fully believe in that. So I really want to make sure we have another in-depth conversation when your book comes out.
Yes.
Yeah. Because so many people deal with it and some don't know that they're in it.
Absolutely.
Some know that they're in it and don't realize that they're in it.
Right.
Some know that they're in it and don't care. They just want to stay in it because they've been in it for so long and they're comfortable. They're at home.
Absolutely. Yep.
You know, and so I want to make sure we have that information out there.
Yes. Yeah. It's so important. So important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So talk to us a little bit more about, so I want to kind of lighten it up a little bit. I want you to give us one little known fun fact about yourself.
That I love karaoke. I love to sing.
Really?
Yes. But I'm like the karaoke singer that nobody likes because I really know how to sing. You know, people go to karaoke, have fun. You know, they singing all kinds of songs and stuff, and I come in here and I be real serious, ready to get signed by a label, right?
So you come to win.
Right.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. And see, I'm one of those people, and I tell people, listen, I was singing one time, and they asked me to stop because they thought I was crying.
What? Cut it out.
Horrible.
Cut it out.
I am probably the worst singer I've ever heard in my life.
Oh my goodness.
I really, I mean, it is horrible. It is so bad. It is so bad. But I
my
love
goodness.
to sing.
Yes.
Isn't that crazy?
It be like that sometimes though. You know, like you just like I love to dance, but I'm not a professional dancer. Like I don't teach no classes or anything like that, but I love to dance.
Well,
so I can see where you're coming from.
I tell you, I singing, you will ask me to stop.
Shut up.
It is that bad.
Oh my
goodness. It is that bad. So hats off to you. I applaud you for that. You know, I would if we did go and do karaoke, which I've never done, but I would love to try it, then you would be on my team then.
You have to do it. You have to do it at least one time.
Yeah. I'm gonna try it once, at least once. So tell us more about your company, what your business. Tell us the name. Tell us, you know, if I were to get in touch with you today, what is the process?
So my brand is called the Divine Connections Agency, where your purpose and where your soul purpose and your brand connects. So I always wanted to know, when people start businesses, what is your why? Why do you do what you do? I always tell my clients, when you want to start a business, you're either starting a business because of a personal experience, or you're starting a business because it's an answer to a problem. These are really the only two reasons why people go into business. So I'm always interested in finding out the backstory on why people are doing what they're doing, because the most important thing is when you're looking for potential clients or customers, or you're trying to figure out a target audience, you want to have a connection with them. So if you're authentic and pure and behind your brand, people, when they see it, they'll feel the same thing. So that's what I help people do. So I bought my graphic design side into that, and my coaching into that. And I love everything that I do. Not only do I get to help these individuals, but I get to help them network, which is the connection part, bringing other people together. People always say, oh my gosh, Tiana, we can't go nowhere without you knowing somebody. You got to know somebody here. We be in the grocery store, you know somebody. You're out in the street, you know somebody. So I just love bringing people together. I truly believe that is my purpose here on earth. I'm here to educate, and I'm here to bring people together.
I love it.
So that is like the biggest thing with my brand. And I'm so glad that I actually did that shift. So if people want event planning services, that's like a luxury service. So I don't solicit that as much. But if somebody personal comes to me and say, oh, you know, Tiana, I want you to plan my wedding or my 30th birthday party or something, I wouldn't mind doing it. But I do have other sister agencies that, you know, I do connect with in regards to those kind of services. But my main focus is the purpose and the identity of a business.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. So when we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, I want you, Tiana, to tell us. So I have this thing, and I try to ask as many business owners as possible because I really want this to get out there. I ask this question: what is a rule that you have heard or you've seen people try to adhere to that as business owners we need to be breaking? And I'll give an example. My pet peeve is the rule of when you start a business, you have to work morning, noon, and night, sun up to sundown, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You have to be sequestered from your family. You have to just put everything else to the side and have no life, get no sleep, and just do whatever it is you're doing in your business in order for it to be successful. I don't believe that. Yes, you
Right.
have to put in work. You have to dig in. You have to lean in. You have to sacrifice some things.
Right.
But to literally almost be on the verge of death just to be successful is crazy.
It's not. Yeah, it's not
and
that
so
deep.
that is one rule that I believe we need to be breaking. So when we come back, I want you to tell us what one rule is that you believe we should be breaking.
Okay.
Well, all right. We are back with Tiana Goodwin. And I asked Tiana before we went on our break, what is a rule that us as business owners need to be breaking? So, Tiana, you have the floor. What is a rule we need to be breaking?
I believe a rule that we need to break is when you're trying to become an entrepreneur, you have to have a lot of money.
Yes.
You do not need to have any money half the time. You know, a lot of businesses, especially if it's a service, you don't need money. You can solicit your services for free.
Yep.
In the beginning, just to get clientele, to get reviews. You know, you want people to talk about you so other people can come to you for whatever your service is.
Yes.
If you, let's say you want to start a t-shirt line or something, you can create your own design if you want to. You know, if you don't want to go out and get a graphic designer, or you can go on Fiverr and spend $5 or $10 for a design, and you can drop ship your shirts. Don't even have to buy any shirts at all.
That's right.
Let the people go on your website and they buy the shirts, and that's it. You don't put out any money. You can do the same for hair if you want to sell hair. You can do the same for any of these kind of things. So you don't have to have a lot of money to start a business. I really want people to get that out of their head. Everything doesn't even involve payment. And people have to understand that sometimes we do things because it's right. You know what I mean? Like, it's been plenty of times I've just given a logo design to somebody. You know what? I'll bless you with this logo design, or, you know, I'll give you this extra resource that I know you probably would have paid for because I want to. So everything doesn't involve a dollar amount.
Exactly.
So, guys, you don't have to have a lot of money to start a business.
I love that. That is awesome. And so, because you have been in business for quite some time now, I'm sure you have experienced business owners who have been affected by COVID-19, the pandemic that is going on. So with that being said, what would you say to somebody that is currently being affected by that says, well, you know, I really want to start a business, but, you know, I have to have the money. You've already said you don't need the money, and you've given some really sound options to really get it done. But what would you say to that person, to that one person that's listening that says, I need to have some money, but I don't because of the pandemic? What would you say to that person right now?
I would really tell them to really sit down and think about other options, you know, because you might have one idea. Let's say you want to become a caterer. You want to start your own catering business, but you know, you need money to buy food, right? So even though, you know, people are not having, you know, big events or anything like that, you really have to now pivot. And we've been using this word for at least the last year. You know, a lot of people have been using this word pivot, right? But you really have to think about alternative ways to make income. So, you know, I had friends who I known for years that I never even knew how to cook the way that they did. So guess what they started doing? They started selling platters. They started doing private dinners. You know, people get tired of cooking because, you know, you're home all the time now. Right. I don't want to cook anymore. So now they're offering private dinners, and they're really like kicking the ball out the park. And I'm like, oh, wow, you know, I'm glad you really sat down and really thought about it. You know, people who are now having weddings, but they're not having big weddings like we're used to. Now we're having these things that we call micro weddings. So now, you know, offer these in-home, you know, designs now, you know, balloon arches and things of that sort. So I think when someone is affected or intentionally is now being affected because of COVID, you have to pivot if you're someone that's in business. But if you're someone who wants to start a business, start connecting the dots. I'm sure you know someone who, not saying you have to borrow money from them or anything, but you might be able to use their platform for whatever you're trying to do. You have to be able to capitalize on other people, and you can always collaborate with people. You can barter services. I mean, I'm the queen of bartering. So you can barter services if need be, especially if both of your brands align with each other. Don't just do something because, oh, this person has 1 million followers, so I want to do stuff with them, but their brand might not align with yours, and then
oh my goodness,
you might get some negative backlash. So you don't want that for someone who's just starting. So look and venture out and look at those people on your timeline and in your Rolodex, in your phones, and start connecting with these people, because you never know what someone can help you with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I just want to just backtrack a little bit. You commented on something that I it's like, oh my goodness, we have to keep talking about it. People trying to connect with other people simply because they appear to have so many followings and followers and, you know, a large audience and all of this other stuff, but the mission, the vision or the voice of their brand just is horrible.
Right.
And people don't seem to understand. I'm very particular. I have a ton of people on, you know, WarKry Radio. I have a ton of folks on there, but that doesn't mean I align myself with them. Totally different, you know, to actually connect with people in a way that we're working together, we're partnering on different projects. I'm very particular about that. Talk to us a little bit about that, because I feel like you have the knowledge and the experience that people need to hear in regards to that.
It's very important. When you're in business, everything that you do is strategic. Everything that you do is strategic, from the vendors you may use to, like I said, the individuals you'll collaborate with, even down to your clients and your customers is very strategic. And I know in the beginning when I first started, it was slow because, of course, people didn't know about me or anything like that. So, you know, I started to build up my clientele. I'm actually rebranding right now. So my website is down, but the majority of clients I get is all through referrals. So that lets you know what kind of person you are and what kind of business you have, because people feel confident enough to tell another individual about your brand and what your business is and what you stand for or how you are as an individual. So when you're aligning, let's say, with another brand for a collaboration, it's very important to do your research. Just because you see somebody on Instagram and they, like I said, have 1 million followers, their brand might be completely opposite of yours. They might, you know, put up crazy videos, or, you know, their content isn't as great. But
I'm gonna stop you right there, because I'm gonna say what you won't say is trash.
It is.
Put it out there.
It is. It's horrible. It's horrible. And, you know, you don't want that for your own brand. Right. So why would you collaborate or have an influencer? You already probably got to pay them anyway. And they want crazy money. They want you to give them almost $1,000 for a post that's only going to stay up for 24 hours. And it's like, okay, so I actually know somebody. I'm going to give a perfect example. I know a female, she has a clothing boutique, and she, you know, contacted an influencer and said that, you know, she wanted her to post, you know, her brand on her page. So she, you know, paid her, and the girl put up the post. So the post went up. The post got all these likes, right? Comments, and all these sales. She wasn't even prepared for the sales that she was about to have. So when her website crashed, it was crazy. So granted, that's a one-time thing. So do people initially go back to purchase something else, or is just a one-time thing? That's not how you want your brand to be perceived. You want people to continually come back and purchase things, whether it's a product that you use for your face, an outfit that you may put on, you know, a hair product that you may put in your hair, or something that you might even eat or drink. You want continued service. You don't want a one-time thing. So when you are collaborating with individuals, or you're trying to align yourself with other brands, you want to align yourself with brands that are long-term.
Right.
Let's continuously do something together. I have a girlfriend who lives in LA who has her own candle business. And then she knows another brand that I think they're like a mobile bartending service. So when COVID came around, they put together a box called
Wow.
Quarantine and Chill. So you get, she put in a candle, she does a room spray, she put in a small room spray, and then the mobile bartender service put in 2 drinks.
Wow.
So now they're selling it as a box, and they've been selling it since quarantine started. So that's a long-term relationship that they can have. They can do this box together. They can do events together. You know what I mean? So these are the kind of relationships that you want. You want long-term relationships. All money, not good money, y'all.
That's right.
So don't just, every time you see something, you got to grasp onto it. I always tell people every opportunity is not the opportunity.
Right.
And it's okay to say no, because no means next opportunity.
Yeah.
So just, you can say no now, and then something greater and bigger may come the next time around.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. And the story that you told about the lady that that, partnered with the influencer and then her website crashed. I've seen that a ton of times. And what people don't understand is there's a difference between growing a business and scaling. Yes. Scaling means you're going to do it and there's not going to be any negative backlash. It's going to go where it needs to go. You're going to have enough people. You're going to have enough inventory. You're going to have all the things that you need to help that business get to where it needs to go.
Absolutely.
Increase. But to grow, you can grow and burst at the seams, and that's not good sometimes. And
that's right.
And so I think we really need to be able to understand these different aspects of business. And this is an amazing conversation because
so
people don't understand these things. And that is one thing that I do try to teach in my business as far as the difference between the scaling and the growing. People say they want to grow all the time. Well, baby, are you ready?
Yeah, that growth is real.
It's real. Are you really ready? Do you really think that you're ready? I know that there was a lady I had been following on social media some years back. And, she did really well. She had a service out there, and then she had a couple of digital products that she released. And then all of a sudden she went viral.
Oh, wow.
And that was horrible for her business.
Wow.
You would think something like that would be amazing, but because she was not able to keep up with the requests, she was not able to keep up with the responses. People began to complain that they ordered the product but didn't get it. And we're talking about digital products. We're not talking about something you can hold where you order a product, some clothing or shoes or, face products or things like that. But these were digital products that people had ordered and they had not received them because she grew too fast. She didn't scale. So she didn't have a team or a process or systems in place to be able to, when these folks, all of these thousands of folks began to order the products, she was not able to, deliver. Wow. And then when they started sending emails, she was not able to respond to all of the emails because it was so many.
Oh my goodness.
So we have to know that there's a difference between growth and scaling. Growth is not always good. Scaling is best.
Yep. That's exactly what I'm about to do right now.
In place, you have those systems. You have, you can get a team, like you said, go to Fiverr, get someone that may help answer emails or customer, questions or different things like that. You can get folks to help.
You definitely can. And I always tell people, no request is too small or too big. So if you're looking for, let's say, a photographer, you can reach out to your local university, community college, and contact, their media department or something like that. And you can pick up an intern. They need hours in order to graduate, or you can get a partnership with a high school or your own local high school, that you may have graduated from and build a relationship there. So there are people out there. I tell people it's always good to utilize the young people for social media because that's what they do all day. They do it all day long. They are pros at it.
And that's one thing that, we have to remember. Internships. I actually have it right here on my board, internships.com. Let me give y'all a little bit of information. Internships.com. You can get an intern that will help you do the things that you need to do. And we're not saying work them like a workhorse.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But you want to be respectful, but there are ways that we can grow our businesses without killing ourselves and without killing our brand.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, your brand has a face, your brand has a voice, and you want both of those to do the things that need to be done to help you push and press forward.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
So, Tiana, tell us how we can get in touch with you.
So you guys can friend me on Facebook. I'm Tiana Goodwin on Facebook. And I also have both my businesses. I have the Divine Connections Agency. That's a page on Facebook. And my own podcast, Purposely Bossing Up. That's on there as well. On Instagram, you can follow me at the Tiana Experience and also Purposely Bossing, BOSSIN, up on Instagram. I'm not on Twitter or Snapchat. I can't keep up with that kind of stuff.
I understand. I was just having a conversation with my husband yesterday. We're both on Twitter, but we have yet to figure out how to really, really use it.
Oh my goodness. It's not like Facebook, or Instagram. Like, you post a picture and it takes a little bit to go through the network, but you can go on Twitter 5 minutes ago, and then when you get back on 5 minutes later, you've already missed like 1,000 tweets. So it's just too much to keep up with.
I cannot get it. In Snapchat, we're not even going to talk about Snapchat. I asked my daughter and her friends back in 2016 to do a class for me, specifically for me, to teach me how to use it. They've yet to do it. Therefore, I don't know how to use Snapchat.
Yeah, I can't get into it.
And I've recently gotten on to TikTok, and I look at videos on there. They're hilarious to me. But I will post a few things on there. I'm trying to figure that out. And I get, quite a few views, but I don't do like videos of myself. I just post my flyers and different things like that, graphics and stuff. But some of this stuff, I'm just too old. I can't do it.
It's just too much.
Yes. So Tiana, tell us, do you have any projects coming up? I know you've talked about your book, but what other projects do you have coming up? And also let us know, what are some of the products that you offer, the services rather that you offer?
Okay, so I'll start off with the services. So through the Divine Connections Agency, I do graphic design, which of course helps with brand identity. I also do coaching and consulting. So I do one-on-one sessions. I do a Canva one-on-one class. I have some e-guides that I have, like how to plan an event or a book tour, how to secure corporate sponsorships. That's also a service that I have. So I do sponsorship consulting. So those are really like the main 3-4 services that I offer. And now I'm actually about to scale back as well on that. So I'll do this kind of services all the way until December 31st, but starting January 1st of 2021, I will be just doing client packages. So you won't be able to get too many services a la carte. So everything will be packaged up in a bundle. And that way I can kind of, filter my clients better, because it gets chaotic. Some person might contact me and say, oh, I want a logo, and it'll be today. And then 2 weeks later, they'll tell me, oh, I need a business card. And then another week later, they'll tell me, oh, I'm like, well, why you just didn't get a package at the time? Granted, I understand people may not have all the money, but I always tell people, if you want to utilize my services, save all your money up and then come to me when all your funds is together.
Yeah.
When all your funds are together. But let me see. Oh, actually, I have a project that's actually in the works right now. So me and 2 of my clients have came together and we created a platform called the Content Collaborative. And it's basically a platform where it's full of creatives, whether you're a photographer, videographer, makeup artist, stylist, whatever it is. And we actually are doing a competition right now, and it's called the Creative Flex. So we're doing the Philly tri-state area right now, and we're going to have 12 teams of 3. So each one will consist of a photographer, a videographer, and a creative director. They'll be given a location and a model. We have a stylist who actually is sponsoring her services, and she's going to be going to each team and she's going to be helping them, bring their vision to life. So they'll have 2 weeks to put their content together, and they have to submit 3 images and a 1 to 2 minute video for our panel of judges. And then, of course, our judges will judge them, and the winner will be announced on September the 6th. So I'm really, really excited about that, because they really have no pics of anything other than the time that they shoot.
Wow.
So it's like, it's just a great way, one, to work with other individuals, because we want to encourage teamwork. Everything, like you said, we can't do everything by ourselves. You might need an extra photographer for something, or someone else to come in and just give some input. So it's just so important that we bring that unity together despite COVID. We're still practicing social distancing and all of that, but we want to still have a good time despite everything that's going on out here. So that's actually what's going on right now with that. Of course, we talked about the book, and that's pretty much it for right now. I'm sure something else will be coming down the pike, but that's pretty much it for right now.
Awesome. And it sounds like you're busy, and I love the coming together. I tell people that, because I've had folks ask me, and I've said this 1,000 times on the show, that, people will ask me, well, Karena, you're a business coach. Why would you have other business coaches on your show? Simply, this is my answer: because we can all sit at the table and eat.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
Absolutely.
And I tell people, and I give this same example every single time, that if everybody right now in the city of Richmond, I'm in Richmond, Virginia, if everybody in the city of Richmond right now said, Karena, I want you as my business coach, and they hired me for their services, I would utterly fail, because I would not be able to handle all of them.
No, absolutely not.
I cannot do that. And so, because I know that and recognize that, we have to understand that, if we can come together and work together as a team, we can all eat. No one has hungry.
Yes, that's what it is. And the thing about it is that every business coach doesn't specialize in the same kind of services.
Exactly.
One might focus on startups, like, how to file for your LLC and all that stuff. And then someone else may come in and teach you how to do something else. So every business coach may have a different concentration. So this is why it's so many of us. You know what I mean? So
exactly. So I absolutely love it. Tiana, I want to thank you so very much for being on the show today. And you are literally the epitome of go be great. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yes. Thank you for having me on here.
Again, formally, I don't want this to slip by. I want you to reach out and let me know when your book drops, so that we can get on in dialogue. I mean, that is going to be top of the list. So we definitely need to make sure we're doing that.
Yes, because that is so important. It's so important. And I'll actually talk about some other things in regards to the book, what I did previously before the book to even get there. So that'll be a good conversation.
Awesome. I love it. Well, Tiana, thank you again for joining us here on WarKry Radio, Go Be Great. And again, like I said, you are the epitome of Go Be Great. I'm thankful to have met you and talked to you and have had this amazing conversation. I told y'all this was going to be good. I knew it was going to be good. I can tell when they're going to be good. I can tell when they're going to be dry. I can tell when they're going to be good. Let me tell you, this was good. I have been talking to you forever. I feel like we have been knowing each other, and just, we're getting ready to just talk and have a conversation.
Right.
And that's how it should be in the entrepreneurial space.
Absolutely.
We'll all be able to have conversations like this.
Yes.
And so, folks, you know how we do. Tiana has given us all of her contact information, but you know that we will have clickable links in the show notes. And so once this show airs, click everything, reach out to Tiana. And also, please, if you're in the Philly area, make sure you sign up with her for one of these awesome and amazing projects, and be on the lookout for the next episode with Tiana, so that we can sit down and dialogue about her book that she is dropping. So thanks, everyone, and I will see you all on the flip side. Bye.